Hey everybody, this is the Hurdie Burk Internet Broadcast Network, broadcasting live from the, Charles, I always like to say this, state-of-the-art studio right here in Round Rock, Texas, right? Huge, big glass windows, correct?
That's right, right along with our favorite
Yeah, our
pet.
favorite Aussie over here. Aussie tonight, our sidekick always comes in for our show, which is kind of cool. Hey, tonight I'm sitting here with Charles Schiller from Gateway Home Inspection, and his website is roundrockhomeinspector.com, and we'll let him mention that again in a few minutes. And we're going to talk about home inspection tonight, which is really kind of cool because we're in one of the hottest buyer-seller markets in the country, Charles, and I would imagine that this is the time where a lot of people are bugging you, correct?
Yeah, we've been pretty busy the last, well, pretty much all
That's what I'm
year
saying.
long.
I mean, people are buying and selling, and we'll get into why both are important tonight. Just to let you know briefly, Charles is and has been a sponsor of these shows since I started doing these shows, and this goes back to the days of the old Windows server. Remember when I had music and all that stuff? And the cool thing is that, Charles, believe it or not, you total up all the shows I used to do on the Windows server farm and put out there on Kiwi, you know, MP3 podcast site. We're up to, this is show 105. 105 every Tuesday night. I know I've skipped one on Christmas occasionally, or somebody didn't show up and got sick or something and I had to wing it. But overall, very successful, and it's been really fun. So anyhow, guys, we want to welcome you to the Hurdie Burk Internet Broadcast Network. We're going to talk about home inspection. And before I do that, I want to thank some of these guys. Hey, I have a hard time pronouncing this word, but what do you call horse place? How do you pronounce that? Equestrian. You know, where they train them and everything? What's that called? Equestrian. Thank you. Man, I'm dyslexic. Everybody should just know that I'm dyslexic, and so things don't look right to me. But I want to thank two new sponsors starting with us in October, Charles. We've got everybody back, and we've added two. We've added All-Star Pest Control. You know Randy really well. They're out in Elgin, but they service all of Austin, and we're going to talk about him a little bit next week. And then we've got County Line Equestrian. How do you say it? Say it.
Equestrian.
Yeah, Equestrian. Thank you. And Judy Gibney. They own the horse boarding right out there off County Road 138 in Hurdie. Beautiful boarding places for horses. It's just awesome. They got fans by each stall. They've got little buckets that they can eat their vitamins and stuff out. It's just cool. They clean them. They get them out grazing. You know how it is. It's a horse's life, man. They got it made. So anyhow, we want to thank those two new sponsors, but let me thank a couple more real quick. I want to thank Sherry Sally. Charles, you're very familiar with Sherry Sally at HSK Century 21 up in Georgetown, Texas. You've done some work for Sherry, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's cool. And some of the clients that have bought houses from her.
Yeah.
She is located at wilcotxhomes.com, and I talked to her the other day, and she said, Hurdie, I need listings. Imagine that. We got 150 people moving to Austin every single day, and so listings become a big deal. And Sherry said for me to tell you guys, if you're trying to sell your home right now in Williamson County, she would love to talk to you. So go visit her site at wilcotxhomes.com. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll mention some more throughout the show, but sponsors, be alerted that, of course, you get a nice link on the custom player after the show. We go and put it on Vubix, which is where I go out and add the show from YouTube, so it's in two places. And our customers, like Charles, our sponsors, get their own custom player when the show's over, so they can embed it out on their website and everything else, man. Pretty cool. Okay, now I know you're tired.
I am.
You've had a day.
I had a good day. Yep.
You had a good day. You just came in actually straight from the street in Leander inspecting a house, correct?
That's right.
All right. So tonight, your tagline is?
My tagline is, I've been protecting home buyers for over 20 years.
It's on everything. And what is your, you have a TREC license number with state of Texas, and just for the sake of making sure that you're in compliance, what is that number?
2717.
And you can verify that through state of Texas if you choose to, but Charles has to make sure that that's mentioned because it's part of advertising for him, and being on the show, we want to make sure that's out there. So you've been protecting home buyers for over 20 years. So let's start with this. First of all, are you from Texas? Because we got
born and raised right here.
Right here. So you've seen it from nothing to something.
That's right.
Now, were you raised here or out where you live near Granger now?
what's about the middle of town of Austin.
Which is
Austin,
I think
which is Anderson Lane. I live south of Anderson Lane, which was the people of Anderson Lane.
There's no MOPAC and there was no roads, and
Yeah, well,
that was out in the middle of
Anderson Lane,
nowhere.
Anderson Lane was a county road.
That's just amazing. And so back there where Lamar and all that came up, that was all out in the middle of nowhere too. It didn't even come out that far, right?
No.
There was no 183.
No.
35 was just 2-lane, or was Interstate 35?
Interstate 35 was built
later.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's nothing. It's just a small little town in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you've seen this whole thing evolve.
That's right.
Are you far enough out now?
Almost.
It's growing out there too, isn't it?
It is. It's growing up.
You know, it's kind of a trend that people are out there. Charles, I've driven out there before toward your place, and it's a trend that you're starting to see people buy a lot of acres out there and then build a pretty nice big house on it, right? And then just enough away from it to be outside the outskirts of.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people
but you know,
that like to live out in rural areas and have a few acres or whatever.
Yeah, and enjoy
Horse,
it like you.
Cow, chicken, whatever they want
like
to
you,
have.
Bobcats.
Bobcats, yeah. had a few paw prints in my house.
You showed a picture on one night. We knew it wasn't your little home kitty, was it?
No, it was not a home
kitty.
kitty.
You were like, oh my God, I don't want to be out here at night, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your website. Where if people want to hire you if they're a buyer or seller and want you to do home inspection for them, we're going to get into what that involves, what you do for them. Where would they go to look for you?
RoundRockHomeInspector.com.
And that doesn't mean that you're limited just to Round Rock, right?
No.
You do home inspections in Leander, Georgetown. Matter of fact, you go all over Austin if necessary, correct?
All over Austin, Williamson County, Travis County, Bell County, Hayes County, Bastrop.
Anywhere in Texas that you can get to that's close enough you feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, as long as it's reasonable.
Serviceable area, right?
Yeah.
Now, the most outstanding thing is, before we get into this, is you have a pretty amazing YouTube channel. That I don't know the last time I looked at it, but I believe there was close to, after we upload, I think there's like 140, 160 videos. Do you know how many people have viewed the site so far? Can you remember? Because it was a lot. It was
I think it's around 59,000, something close to 60.
I think it's a little bit more than that, but it's good. He's got all sorts of tips on that. So if you go look up Charles Schiller on SCHRILLER, Schiller, Charles Schiller. Go look up on YouTube. You'll find his site, and he's got tons of tips. He shows you just about everything he shot, from leaks and faucets to tubs to dishwashers to attics to slabs to cracked sidewalks to foundation problems. All right, so Charles, what makes first of all, as a home inspector, when somebody calls you and they say, I want my home inspected, what is the process you go through first talking to them? Do you have preliminary questions that you go through with the particular client?
Yeah, in order to be able to price the home, I need to know the square footage, the age of the home, because the age of the home, you're just going to spend more time there typically.
Because you know that you're going to be looking and seeing some things. Okay.
Yeah, because the codes have changed from 10 years, since
they
3 years
every
ago.
Day, don't they?
every 3 years, yeah.
Right.
And further down the road, you get the more things have changed. But typically, we really don't do code inspections. They're safety inspections, really, and just to make sure that you're aware of the maintenance issues that's gone up that needs to be done on a home.
Right.
The GFCI breakers may go out, rotted wood. All those kind of little things that people just want to know before they move in.
And the people that are selling probably not as much as the buyers, right? But a seller probably needs to get this done because it gives him a chance to see what he needs to do to make sure he gets the full maximum value for his home, correct?
Well, that's right. And because if there is something that's major that would scare the buyer away, a home seller would have the advantage of going in and taking care of that major issue that would perhaps scare a buyer away, and take care of it at a more timely manner and at a price that he can get bids from different contractors or whatever for if it's AC, bad AC or something like that
or
going
roof
on.
or rotting wood or slab problems or whatever.
Yeah, he has the opportunity to go out there and price stuff out and get it done in a timely manner that fits his schedule instead of having to get it done in 10 days and just.
So get it done. What you're
done.
saying is get it done in advance so you know what's going on. And if you're thinking about selling, give yourself a chance to get all this done or get it to a point where, you know, the homeowner feels comfortable and a buyer feels comfortable with it too.
Right.
What is your, one of the things that you've often said is that you are obligated to the buyer or the seller, right? Your sole purpose.
Most of the time it's buyer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But your sole responsibility is you want to make sure that home buyer is absolutely not walking into an example of something that was not seen or was not listed. And so this gives a chance for first and second eyeballs, right? It's not uncommon to have 2 inspections, correct? Not from you, but let's say a realtor wants to do an inspection and then that buyer wants to bring you in separately and get another inspection just to make sure.
Then the buyer inspection.
Highly recommended.
Yes. Yeah. Now you have to take into account that I don't look through walls. I don't have. I'm not Superman.
You don't do X-ray.
I don't do X-ray visions, and so these are visual, non-destructive inspections. And so we go in there and we just check all the little things that need to be checked: switches, plugs, light
outside,
fixtures,
inside, roof,
outside,
whatever.
roof. Yeah, we check all these visual things. You know, so I can't. You know, I'm not a licensed electrician, so I can't go out there and do readings on an electrician other than the drop in the coil.
Right.
And so that's basically what I'm limited to. But that gives me enough information
though, and
to
make
tell
sure they
you
work or not, right?
Whether we need to bring the pros in there to get it done. And that's what this does. This gives you the overall overview of the house. And so if you need to get the pro, that's the pro plumber, the pro electrician, the pro AC, then they know, hey, something's there and they need to go back in there and evaluate that system and get it repaired.
And I know it's based on square footage and everything, but what is your typical procedure that you probably have what I should say, an organized flow to where you start doing this over 20 years, right? So you walk up to the home, you've been invited, they've asked you to do the work, and then you come in, and what do you have with you? What kind of checklist, and where do you generally start with the home? And depending on square footage, how long does it generally take?
Generally takes about 2 hours. The bigger the house, we may go to 3.
May go to 3, okay.
And if there's a sprinkler system, which is an optional system, you know, that adds another probably 30 minutes or so to the job.
And then what do you carry with you on the job? What do you carry a checklist, right? Pretty good.
Well, my checklist is pretty much in my head after 25 years.
I was going to say, you got it, right?
The checklist is there. And when you start I start in the kitchen and just walk around the whole entire house. I start there in the kitchen, and whichever way I flow out of the house, and then
make a circle.
I make a circle, and then go out the garage and outside and up on the roof. And
so you do inside first, then you migrate the outside. You go up on the roof. You're checking
attic,
right. Now in Texas, we build our homes on slabs.
In this part of the country.
In this part of the country, right? And in a lot of Texas, right? But you've got probably some older homes in South that probably might be some old sub or pier beams, right? But generally we're on a pretty good slab, and we're building on one side of the interstate, which has good base rock, and then you're building on the other side, right, out east, that's like a field.
Has a lot of clay soils. Yeah.
Clay soils. So how important is part of the home inspection to get a real detailed look at the slab?
Well, that is a process of evaluating different things when you walk through. You look through for doors, perhaps dragging the jambs and cracks, windows, headers, doors, cracks in the sheetrock, and then you go out and you check cracks in the walls of the masonry veneer, and all these things are indicators of a possible situation that might need further evaluation by a registered engineer.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can take the pictures, right, give them the report and say, I recommend that you call or find somebody to take a harder look at this, because this is what I've seen, and based on experience, this might need another look-see from somebody else, correct?
It happens once in a while. You know,
not all the time. I get that, but it is an important part of the inspection. I know that in the past, talked to some people you've done business with, and you saved them a lot of money by pointing out the foundation issues, which eventually kept them from buying the house, right? And because it was there. So that's part of that protecting home buyers for 20 years.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately it happens. You know, sometimes go in there and there's more costs involved with the major repairs, and that's where that buyer inspection or that seller inspection comes in to protect that buyer, you know, to make sure that they can get things taken care of up front, because then you don't have those deal killer things come up.
And you do a pretty substantial report. I've seen you setting up to do one of your reports before.
Yeah.
And so what does your report end up looking like to them when you're done with the report and you fill out all the paperwork you've gotten? What do you give them?
Well, the report, it comes, we have a standardized form in Texas that's produced by the Texas Real Estate Commission, and then we go in there and make it look individualized per inspector. Like my reports have pictures along with the comments and of any issues or any other comments that I want to put in there, just perhaps some maintenance ideas or tips or something like that that I see that need to be taken care of, if not now, in the future. And with those pictures and those comments, you know, it just keeps adding up. You know, the number of pages just keeps totaling on with the more issues.
Yeah,
and
so
that's
person,
there.
Yeah, and this person gets this report, right?
And then at the end, I also do what's considered a summary sheet on the bottom, which summarizes all the issues that are there, that are found on that, so that the realtor or the builder or somebody, the selling listing agent, can have a better understanding. And that usually what happens is then the buyer comes back and says, well, we'd like to have these numbers, and the summary comes out numbered, so they can say, well, we want these addressed and fixed before we move up into the house, and that's how it's typically done. And so the summary sheet just really helps the sellers and everybody just have a better understanding without having the whole, you know, maybe 30 or
and the buyer of the home can see this report too and know exactly what's going on. Correct. So this is really good, especially that buyer.
Yeah, the buyer. Yeah.
And for the cost of we're not going to talk about the cost. That's between you and the size of the home, and there's different equations. But for the cost, I know that it's well worth it for people to get that home inspected, right?
Yeah, and these, you know, all the pictures are digital, so everything comes out email to the the buyer owns the report, and then of course they usually want to share it with their realtor that they're working with. So it usually goes out to those two, and then they can then send it on to whoever they want to, and whatever.
Right. So once you're done and hand it to them, it's theirs.
Yeah, and you know, with all the pictures nowadays, and I like to have my buyers there on site, at least at the end of the on-site inspection, to go over any issues. So if they can look at it firsthand there, and we kind of go over everything.
And you can sit down and go over all what you put in the report to them, so they understand it.
Yeah, the on-site takes about, like I said, 2.5 to 3 hours, and then then the report can take anywhere from that long. Again,
to a day, depending on how big the house is.
Several hours, depending on what all is there.
Right. And so what do you, I guess this is off the cuff question, but what do you find as common, you've been doing this 20 years, there's certainly got to be common things that you see on a consistent basis. Can you name a few? And I know it's different for every home, so I'm not holding your feet to fire here, but is there just common things that you see?
Well, you know, it seems like the last month I've run into a whole lot of GFCI plugs, you know, outlets and whatnot that should be GFCI protected, and for some reason the GFCI plug is not functioning right. So it's not tripping.
So what is that? Where is that located, and why is that important?
That's a safety device that's installed in the electrical systems near water, in wet areas, outside kitchens, garages, sink, laundry rooms, utility rooms, all that kind of stuff. And that keeps you from getting shocked from handling where you might be
standing
in water or
wow,
whatever.
so it's dangerous if that doesn't work.
It's very dangerous, and pools also. The other day it was very frightening. There was to me, the GFCI that was protecting the lights in a pool wasn't functioning. Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good.
Because that means you could get electrocuted
You
in the pool.
could get electrocuted in the pool.
I've always wondered about that, and that has to be located outside, close to that, and that has to be tested, right? So
they should be, all these GFCIs need to the manufacturers want you to test them every 30 days is really what they recommend, and there's 2 buttons on these, and the bottom one is typically the trip button. You go in, or the test button, and you go in there and punch it, and it should trip. If it doesn't, and then reset it, and the light should come back on.
Yeah. So that's the test, and if that doesn't work, then it fails.
It's not.
So you got, and there's your phone. That's funny. So that means that's important, and this is all about that home safety stuff, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you're not, if when you get your home inspected, and this is something that people should just be aware of, get that checked. Mm-hmm. If you don't know how to do it or not sure, somebody out one time and get peace of mind.
Yeah, it's just a very simple test. You just need to do those.
Now, another area that's in Texas that I would imagine is something you have to take a hard look at is we have a lot of heat, and we don't have very cold winters, at least not yet. I think we're going into global cooling. I hope I didn't say that too loud, did I?
No,
okay, good. So the heat in the summer, we've got these HVAC units that sit outside, plus there's some of them are in the attics. It gets hot, so HVAC is probably a huge, second or third largest expense on a home after it's been built, probably down the road.
After the roof.
So you go through the HVAC system as much as possible.
Well, yeah, you pull the panel off, look at all that stuff, make sure everything's set up right, your condensate lines are installed properly, that your disconnects are there, and run a test on the differential, the drop in the coil from the return air versus the supply air, and there should be a spread of usually between 17 and 21, 16 to 21, something like that. It's pretty much normal.
And one of the things you've often said about the air conditioning HVAC unit outside is you don't want to build these, you don't want to plant these bushes that grow up 5 years from now and keep the air from circulating around the fan, the coils, right?
That's right.
You have an intake, outtake. Airflow is important.
Airflow is important to the HVAC system, both at your outside unit as well as your interior. Return airs, all that stuff. Don't block your return airs with furniture. Stuff like that. Keep your filters clean, changed every 30 to 60 days with a high quality filter, and that'll help keep your unit running better, because if your unit starts collecting dust on the coil, well, that just drops the efficiency of your unit, which costs you money every month.
And I know, and I'm not getting into home inspection here, but I know some people that are actually now starting to put a little UV light up in the exchange unit for getting rid of mold or mildew before it gets circulated through the house if they have allergies. So if you guys you're interested in something that can really help your air, UV is kind of cool to put up in the exchange unit, right? Then I know you don't recommend that, but I'm saying that I've seen it, a lot of people use it, so are picking up on that. Now, I saw an interesting video of yours on this. You were inspecting a brand new house, brand new, built, right? You went out to the HVAC, and right there, coming out of the wall, blowing right where it blew, right into the HVAC unit, was a dryer vent. And you kind of shook your head on the video and went, hold it, I'm not seeing this. So you don't want your vent from your dryer to be blowing the lint and stuff out onto your HVAC unit. It makes absolutely no sense. I laughed at that one. I'm sorry I edited that for you, but I was laughing. Going, what? So that's the kind of things that you can point out to people.
Exactly.
Now, do you get asked to inspect a home that's being built after it's been built? Do you go out and do inspections on brand new construction when it's built before the buyer buys it? Do you go walk through it?
Yes, I do. I do both final inspections, and I do pre-drywall inspections also. Make sure things are put in orderly. It goes above and beyond what a typical code inspection would be.
So that's good too. So the people are confident buying a brand new home that it was constructed properly and has the right stuff, and you can test everything on it and make sure that that works based on what you see.
Right.
Okay. So how about for
Actually, Hurdie, the builders ought to love me.
That's what I'm saying.
But if they don't, they're idiots, because I go out there and I document what they did right.
That's what I'm saying. You're building the case for how good they are.
Yeah.
And if they really are doing it right, they should be using your service, right?
Yeah. And it's those little things that they get this pride thing over, you know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I
used to build houses, you know.
That's what you did for X amount of years. You were building, so you're not only do you have the background of protecting these home buyers, that's what you did for years. So you know what to look for.
Design and build homes, yes.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Okay, so largest house you've ever done?
Oh,
just for fun.
Gosh. Probably about 6,500 square
Holy,
foot.
that's big.
That's big.
That's an all-day job.
Yes.
And all-day and 2-day report or week report.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
6,500 and the smallest.
Oh, probably about 600.
Really, teeny tiny. That's amazing. Yeah. That's funny. All right, we're going to take a break.
And you don't get very many of either one of them.
No, I get it, but I know, but still, I'm just curious to see how large of house you've done before. All right, so we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We want to thank Charles for being here. Charles, mention your website one more time.
RoundRockHomeInspector.com.
Go look him up, and it'll redirect you to Gateway, which is your umbrella company that oversees your inspection company, correct? And all the information there, there's some video on the first pages. I want to thank a couple more sponsors right now. I want to thank Danny L. Smith. Danny L. Smith is a John Maxwell certified coach, guerrilla marketing, not the gorilla spelled G-O-R, but guerrilla marketing, you know, showing people tactics. But he's also offering a new program, you'll like this, Charles, called StopWastingHandshakes.com. And it's an actual program that you can sign up for, watch 4 free videos, get all these cool worksheets for free. You just go register. And then if you're interested in doing the webinars with him to really get into how you tap in and keep in touch with follow up your customers, it's a great program. And I think it's like $97 to the first 40 people. But go look at StopWastingHandshakes.com. Maxwell certified coach, guerrilla coach, excellent reads. Gosh, $20 a week. That's pretty good, you know. So go check out. Also, his website is DannyLSmith.com. You can go look it there, and you can go check it out. And then I want to thank one of our buddies, and I think AMSGarageDoors.com, AMSGarageDoors.com. They're located in Round Rock, but they service all of Austin, especially up here in Williamson County. They're busy. If your garage door gets broken, they have all their prices listed, Charles, kind of unique, right, on their website. So you know what you're paying for, you come out. And if you were to get your car stuck in the garage tonight, shuts halfway, spring break, something, you can't open it, they'll come out, make sure you get the car out of the garage, so you have to go to work tomorrow, Charles. You can't skip it, right? Can't stay home, make the excuse. Then they'll come back, make sure it gets all fixed the next day, but they'll get it secured and safe so you don't have to worry about it, which is kind of cool. And we're thinking about those guys right now. I believe we had a little surgery in their family this week, some back surgery. So we're thinking about you guys, and thank you for being a sponsor, and we appreciate you 2 sponsors, and there's a couple more, right? Isn't it great that we've got like 10 sponsors? So, you know, I'm ecstatic that the sponsors are really helping with the expense of me just going out. And I host all these shows on host server at Vubex too. So there's a monthly fee, and basically that I break even. I use this as a way to give Austin business a voice, just for you people listening for the first time and on the archive when you get this on demand. And I really do just use that to kind of keep the show going, because at my time, an hour and a half after the show's over to get it all fixed up for you, and then I release it to you, and I'll let you guys push it out however you want. So it's really cool. So welcome back. We'll ring the doorbell. Yeah.
You know, I'd like to say something about AMS Garage Doors. Mike Stewart, I tell you what, is one of the best garage door guys I know. We had him come in. I'm president of our local inspectors.
That's right. No one talked about that. Okay.
Here
doorbell.
Okay. and we had him come in and do a seminar for us at our local chapter meeting. And I tell you what, that guy knows his stuff.
He does.
And I tell you what, so when I go out and of course garage door openers is some of the things that I inspect. And so I inspected exactly how he tells us to do it, and it's really great. and you'd be surprised how many of them don't do what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and you know what? I've even been out to do video shoots with him where it was a brand new home, never been lived in, and it's getting ready to be moved into. And they're up there, and the rollers aren't completely on the tracks. They're not synced in right. The garage shakes when it comes. These are brand new. So just don't assume if you build a brand new house that garage door is in properly. You need to probably get that checked. These guys are awesome.
Right.
They're awesome. And Mike is so knowledgeable, but not only that, they're friendly as heck.
Yeah.
And they run a tight schedule. You call in from the website, they'll set you up an appointment, and they will be there. They've got several trucks running around town, and 24/7. If that happens 2 o'clock in the morning and your car gets fixed, they'll come out. That's the amazing part to me.
Yeah,
so anyhow, we want to thank those sponsors one more time. Thank you guys. We're glad to have you. All right, so you're president of this chapter. What does this involve?
It's TREC, which is the which is the state organization. It's the Texas Professional Real Estate Inspectors Association. I'm president of the TREC Greater Austin chapter.
Awesome.
here in the Austin area, which we just started. We started our first meeting in January, so we're now down to 9. We meet on the third Tuesday of every month,
right,
at Logan's Steakhouse right over here.
And what is the purpose? Does this other home inspectors that you guys meet together and talk shop?
Well, it's more than just talk shop. We have an education. We have an hour education every at every meeting, and we have some awesome speakers there. We're not going after just little things that's going on out there. We want to educate our local inspectors so that we all do a better job.
So you bring in the people in the code areas, whatever, to talk to you what's going on new, what's coming down the pike. All these things are associated with it.
Yeah, like garage doors, how to inspect those, appliances. We've had roof ventilation. Attic ventilation is one of the real important things, because that's what helps cool our hot attics.
Right.
And so you want to make sure you have all that working properly and efficiently in the way it's.
So you're getting educated not only on the spraying inside the attics to cool them down, but the ventilation of them, make sure that's right. You can look for it when you're in there, because we get so hot in these attics.
Right.
Your utility bill could suffer immensely if you don't do it right.
If you don't have it right, yeah. And so we're just educating us on all these things that inspectors need to know, and plus our state chapter, our state organization. Well, like this coming weekend, we're going to College Station. We're going to have our annual meeting down there, and we're going to we're going to discuss the changes on the new codes to the 2012.
Don't step on his head.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah.
Rusty's kind of made himself at home under Charles.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So the new code changes for the international resident, and get a better understanding on the code changes, as well as what.
And code changes constantly, or is it major changes generally, or just ongoing? And now you have to redo your certification every certain amount of time, or once you have this, it's just a matter of going through some online stuff?
I have to do 32 hours every 2 years to maintain my license. But I'll be quite honest with you. If you're only getting your 32 hours, you're not doing your job.
You're not doing
the job.
So you guys can all get together. So you're really not your competitors, but you're really not enemies. You're really trying to.
It's
amazing. You found it's such a big place. There's probably plenty of room, right?
There is. And let's face it. I can't do every inspection in Austin,
and neither can they.
And they can't either. And so we've come together, and you'd be surprised the camaraderie which has come out of that group.
I bet it's great.
It is just awesome. And with the education, we have guys coming from Marble Falls, Temple,
Waco, probably all the way.
Well,
they have their own chapter up there. Okay.
And then from Hayes County.
Wow.
Buda area back out there, Lakeway. We have guys coming from all over to our meetings out here now.
And they're learning.
And because it's worth coming to. They're getting good, beneficial information. And we have new members sign up just about every meeting. And so if you're a home inspector out there
and you want to
in
join us,
our area, join us.
How do they find you? How would they find that on your website, or would they just need to go?
Yeah,
where do you have a link to it somewhere?
yeah, we have our own website, and I'm sorry, I don't know what the
Isn't that funny? We'll get it.
Website
If you'll get home and email it to me tonight, I'll make sure it's on the custom player.
Okay.
Okay. We'll get a link on there for you.
Yeah.
So just email it when you get home tonight. That's the beauty of the archive.
Yeah.
And by the way, just so people know, the live show, I never suspect we have tons of people on it because I don't really. People just don't do stuff on a time schedule. You know, if they want to listen to this in their car on their mobile phone, they'll listen to it on the way to work and pull it up. You know, that's how most of our listeners grab this show. By the way, just so you know.
Yeah, and you know, as the competitors that we are all up there, we're all getting together, and there's a deal in October. I think I forget the date, 16th. No, I don't know, whatever it is. It's coming up in October, a Realty Roundup. We're going to all go down there and market to PREA and our local chapter organization to the realtors down there.
Wow.
As a chapter, and there will be about, I think there's 12 of us that are going to go down there.
Wow.
and be there pretty much all day.
That's cool.
Meeting, talking to people. We'll have giveaways.
Yeah.
And
Guys
stuff like that.
Not only you guys are not. They'll refer them, and I'm sure that helps all y'all because that's just keeping the ball rolling and making it look good, right?
Hey, these realtors don't know all of us out here, and I don't know all of them.
No, and
so when they call and I'm busy, hey, we pass it on. We have 2 or 3 other guys, and that ball just goes on. I hear call these if we're busy. Well, it just keeps going, and these guys are getting educated. They're all top-notch inspectors in our area,
and that's awesome. And so what are you allowed to do? I know the state, your license number is 2717. We mentioned that at the beginning of the show, no big deal. What can you not do? You go to network groups, you do stuff like that, you work off referrals. What can you do marketing-wise? Just as long as you have your number where people can see it on advertising, you can post out there to contact you, right? But you just got to make sure that your license number, your TREC number is on everything, correct?
Right, that's correct.
So so that's good. And a link, anything linked back to your website, your number's there, so people can check you out and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's on Facebook, all that kind of stuff.
Now, one cool thing that you do that I like, and I'm putting the word out to any other home inspectors that you send this to, because I'm sure you're going to send the link out to them and say, y'all need to go on the Hurdie Burk Internet Broadcast Network at some point and chat with him. What do you have unbelievable customer testimonials.
Yes.
You go out of your way that when you get done with an inspection and they're really happy and they're glad you've done it, you've asked them to put that on video, right?
Yeah, I like quite a few. There are several of them.
And they help you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can email those to somebody and say, "Here's a couple."
Yes, and I do that all the time.
That's what I'm saying. You actually had somebody last year. This is great. That lived in Chicago, or was it Illinois? And they found you on YouTube and asked you to look at a house for them here. Mm-hmm. How cool is that?
Yeah, and
the power of YouTube, right?
Yeah, and they were Hispanic,
right?
And so his wife did me an English speaking one and a Spanish.
That's
speaking
awesome. Just to make sure you got it. And so they actually hired you from a YouTube video.
A YouTube video.
And they were way up north. Had no idea.
And then they sold that house, and I did another inspection.
I know, exactly. So two inspections off a YouTube video. Mm-hmm. So you guys need to go check out his testimonials, because there's nothing more powerful than sending a video out to a potential client and saying, "Here's what a couple of my folks have said about my service." Not me, but what they've said, right?
Right, exactly.
And that's awesome. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, referrals are everywhere today, you know, and and to have those good testimonials is important to make sure that people say, you know, this is
they've
the
got
guy
Yelp they can post on today, and they've got other stuff they can put on Google Plus and all that. So you know, you're in a world where reputation counts right now. You know, it's about the only thing you have left. Really, when it comes down to it, is reputation of how well you handle your clients and everything else, you know. And if you have to fix something, you beat them to it, right? You call them and tell them, hey, we need to talk about this, right? So it's just basic common business sense. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so common problems?
Common problems.
Leaks, tub problems, leaks a
Yeah, it's
lot,
just
garbage disposal, little things generally, right? Nothing,
it's a lot of little things that can sometimes add up into bigger things if they're not taken care of. If you have that fascia that's starting to rot, or a little leak here or there on the roof, and all of a sudden, a little thing can add up into being a major
gutters
thing.
that aren't tacked on right can, when the nails pull out, can leave water seepage into them. So you got to look at the facing right up under where the roof comes off.
And everything, yeah.
So do you actually crawl up and look at roofs? Are you allowed to visually inspect the roof and determine?
Yeah, and obviously I don't go in there. I went on one today. I was going to go on.
Well, I was going to say, is that your call?
Yes,
depending on the pitch of the roof and
the height,
and being responsible. I agree.
It's my call.
Yeah, and I don't blame you.
When it gets unsafe, I don't
when it's too high or too steep, you're going, you know what? Life's too short.
Life's too short.
Call a roofer.
Call a roofer. And that's what I did today on that
and
one.
say, look, you need to come out here with your right stuff.
Hurdie, you'd be surprised with if you know what you're looking for. I can see things from the ground.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, you've been doing this over 20 years. It's not like, and you built them. It's not like you can't see bruising or you can't look and see loose,
misplaced shingles
blown off.
And I can see a whole lot from the roof's edge. If I can at least make the roof's edge, I'll do that.
Yeah, because you can look on where the gutter goes and see what's going on underneath it.
And flashings and stuff like that. Get a little bit better look at it. If I can, I'll do that. For sure.
As best as you can recollect, what is the worst thing you've seen?
Worst thing I have seen.
Any house cracked in half where there was a crack across it this big?
Yes, actually in Taylor in a
really
a really clay soil
so
they have
big
over
crack.
There was a crack that this was about a 1,300 square foot house, and it was basically a square box.
Right, so it was built on just a square slab.
This house literally was split in half.
Really?
I mean the slab on the left side and the slab on that side. You probably had a 1/2 to 3/4 inch crack,
and it was
in the masonry,
sloping away from the crack,
and you could see
in the house.
You could see, everything, all the sheetrock all the way across the house.
It was just pulling across. So that house is basically condemned.
Well,
it can be fixed.
Just about anything can be fixed.
But you just got to have the right people coming in and doing the right stuff.
Just about anything.
That's awesome. And that's the stuff you got to watch for because, you never know.
Yeah.
All right. So Charles, what is a typical day like for you?
Well,
a couple inspections a day, or try to do one a day.
I try to do one a day
because we're old.
Yeah.
I can only do one a day. Yeah. I'm too old for this, and it's hot.
Yeah, especially during the summer. If it's the right kind of inspections, I can do 2. If they're close, smaller, newer homes. If they're not, then it just takes too long to do the on-site and the report both. Because there's nights I'm up till 10:30, 11.
That's what I'm saying. Because you got to wait till you get home to do the report and get on the computer and all that stuff.
So,
and you'd rather do the home when it's still 100 out, and we're going to 95 tomorrow. Yeah. You prefer to be out there right after daybreak if possible, right? Because I want to get in that attic and get out of there before it gets to be 140 degrees up there, or 150 degrees, right?
Yeah, a lot of the super keys, which is the key that lets us into the houses through the ABOR, Austin Board of Realtors. A lot of them are set up for 8:30 to 9 o'clock and stuff like that. So a lot of times you can't always get in when you want it.
No, because it's up to the homeowner. And from a security standpoint, now house may be vacant that you're looking at, and it's not important for homeowner to be there. But do you make sure that there's somebody present at the house that's still occupied, or as long as it's up to them and they know your schedule, there's no problem with that?
Yeah.
Because you're insured and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
We're fingerprinted and background checked and everything in the state of Texas now. So
there you go.
To maintain our license. And the realtors tell them, say, hey, somebody, or they're supposed to, let them know that I'm coming. And I don't know that I've ever had anybody say that they didn't know I was coming, but maybe I don't remember.
Yeah. Hello, I'm here. What for?
Yeah,
Health
yeah, what
inspection.
for,
Remember
yeah.
you called me last week. I'm here.
I
I have you on my schedule.
I did have a guy. I did 2 inspections for him in one day. That was when I did 2.
Yeah.
And he gave me the wrong address.
And so you're at this people's house and they're going, what? Oh, that's got to be fun.
Yeah.
How do you get out of that? Excuse me, I'm not casing your neighborhood. I really am. Was directed to this address. I'm so sorry. Let me call him while you're here so you know I'm not messing with you, okay?
I did.
That's a good thing. All right, so what did I miss? What would you like everybody else to know tonight from tonight's show? What are some things? Your website, obviously, RoundRockHomeInspector.com, right? But you service all of Austin. So what did we miss?
Central Texas area. Yeah. Oh, gosh. We covered all the bases, I guess.
When that's what we're supposed to do here. Because I just want to say I think it's super important that people pay attention. You're investing a lot of money in something you're going to be in quite a while. These values of these homes have been appraised up. You want to make sure that when you buy, you're getting something you can live in without major repairs, and hopefully those are discovered before you buy it, right? And things are fixed. And to the seller, you want to make sure you're maximizing the market going up right now.
Yeah. You just don't want to get stuck with something that you want to wear with as a home buyer.
Right. And you can call Charles, or when you go to his website, all you do is call him. He's going to ask you some basic questions like square footage, where's it located, and he can give you pretty much a price because he's got 20 years experience, 25 almost, and he can just tell you basically the price over the phone and what time you may come out. It's that simple, depending on schedule and everything. And I know you've been really busy lately, so is this kind of a busy quarter because we're going into the holidays? I know that for some people holidays goes like this, but there's a lot of people buying, selling, thinking of at the end of the year, right? Taking advantage of the selling of the house.
We have a little bit of lulls there in a few days, but actually over the Christmas holidays we can be pretty busy.
And so what I'm telling everybody is don't not call him just because it's the holidays. If you need a home inspected, except on Christmas Day, because he's got his grandkids, and I see pictures all the time, and you guys don't mess with his family. He's family guy, so so that's cool. So thank you for being here tonight.
Well, thank you for having me, Hurdie.
These are good little infomercials for our small Austin business, and my goal is that you guys get to have your own hand infomercial show that why we don't have the tons of the live listeners. There's probably some people listening through the Facebook link or whatever, but the cool thing is when you get the custom player, you control where you want that show to go. You can put it on your website. You can share the link once a month out to different social networks. You can put it on LinkedIn, and really what it becomes is this awesome, in my opinion, show about your service so people can build that know, like, and trust with our guests. So I appreciate you being here. And website one more time?
www.roundrockhomeinspector.com.
And I do know that you have Gateway Home Inspection, right?
Right.
All over the place. That tells a little bit before we go up. That is your umbrella company, right? That's that's your. Is that an LLC or just a partner?
It's an S corporation.
It's an S corp, and so that is your umbrella. But you like to have these individual areas like Round Rock, Home Inspector from a recognition standpoint. We know why you're doing that.
Yeah, SEO.
That's cool. All right, so his license number, just to repeat, is 2717.
277.
TREC, Texas Real Estate Commission.
That's right.
And he runs a chapter that all the home inspectors get together. So you're in good hands in Austin if you call him, because if he gets too busy, he can refer you out to somebody else and vice versa. Yeah. It's an awesome world, and you can be assured. I've seen the reports he puts out. They are awesome.
Well, thank you, Hurdie.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Anything else?
Well, hey, I'd like to put a plug in for you if you don't mind.
Knock yourself out. I'm blushing.
Hey, I tell you what, if you want somebody to help you get on YouTube, get some videos out, Hurdie's the guy to help you do that. He can help you build your website or your YouTube channel and get everything set up working right. You can shoot your own videos. He can do that, or he can shoot them for you, whatever you want to do. And he's a good guy to help you get started in this type this type of thing, to get your presence out there so that people can find you and look you up. And you'd be surprised how many people have called me off my YouTube channel.
It's amazing. And latest stats, I'm not going to give you exact numbers because I don't have them in front of me, but did you know what the #1 tactic for conversion is?
What?
Video.
Video. Okay.
And you know where? YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.
Is that any surprise?
Well, I've gotten to where I watch YouTube video. I love watching. There's so much information out there, and most of it's good quality stuff. As long as you know it. You know, there's trash out there too. But if there's so many people out there with so much good information that's there on YouTube, it's just an awesome place to go.
And you know what? I tell people all the time, you know, people go their cell phones and stuff, and you know what? If you really want to just shop out or look for videos, you can do it through the main Google search, but I recommend you just go to YouTube, since it's the second largest search engine. They have a search. They have a search box just like you do in your regular Google search there, especially in your local area. Because if you type in area home inspector and you're in Round Rock, that Google is going to query the videos of the people closest around you because they're a hyper-local search engine. So you're going to get some good views of some good home inspection videos or how-tos, and I agree with you. I mean, it's the number one tactic that brings the highest conversion, builds the quickest know, like, and trust to the home, to the business, right? So, yeah, and you're in that big time. I mean, I know you play with LinkedIn, G+, Twitter, Facebook Business, and I know you guys out there don't have all day to sit around and play with it, but you post enough, you know, and you've got enough of a presence now where it really helps you. We'll do some more. You only have like 140 up there. Come on, can't you do some more?
Well, I will. You know, the how-to videos are good. Awesome. I'm being in the construction business for so long, I know a whole lot of little tips that I've been really wanting to go out there and do videos of to show you just how to. I've got one on how to change a door sweep out on an exterior door, and some other ones. Well, I've got one on how to inspect your toilet. I mean, there's just stuff like that, and I need to do more of those type things.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Aloha Plumbing, who's in one of our groups, did a how to get a stuck wash machine hose off that's been sealed.
Yeah.
To the pipe, so you don't twist it off.
I need to watch that one.
I
need to watch that one.
Yeah, it's on Aloha. Here's the deal.
I will.
1,000 views in less than 3 weeks.
Awesome.
So here's the point. It's not in the quality of it. He shot himself. I edited it. But the cool thing is that it was the information. It was so simple. I tell people, I saw an article today. You're gonna laugh. And I know we're talking about this now, but it's kind of cool to end it like this. Make your videos so that they speak to an 8th grader. Now, I don't mean that you're insulting people's intelligence, but you probably know more than they'll ever know. So just make it simple. Keep it KISS and make the video as bland as you want. You know, just as long as it covers the information, that's the ones being watched. It's amazing to me.
It is.
I see people putting motion graphics on stuff, and they do well. But I've seen ones that people shot, and their camera's shaking a little bit, and it's got great information.
Is it still important not to shoot them over a certain length of time? Yeah,
I think everybody's just about determined that you need to be in that 1 to 3 minutes. 3 minutes for a demo, if it's really good, that 1 to 2 minute range is popping. That doesn't mean that long play is not good, because people are now watching Hula and Netflix on their connected Chromecast on TV, so it can be deceiving that you see these long play stats, right? That's generally movies. But when it comes to personal videos where people are looking for quick information, get to it. You don't need to talk about who manufactured the battery. It's like, let me see, guy, get out of the car and put a new one in, okay?
Right.
You know, so the post, this one's red, this one's black. We know that. Get to it.
And I agree with that.
Yeah, so you know that, because that's how your videos are. Right. Well, thank you, Charles. We appreciate you being on the show tonight. This is the Hurdie Burk Internet Broadcast Network. We are here every Tuesday night. We start 20 more shows starting next week, October through the end of January. Charles, thank you for being a sponsor. You're front and present. I'm located on Facebook. You can look up the Hurdie Burk Broadcast Network. That's a group, and you can add yourself, and I'll add you. You're on there, but a lot of people join daily. I get a couple here and there every day. It's for fun. We love to cover the Austin business, and we love to have our Austin business guests on. So good night, Charles. Have a good evening. See you around the corner, and we'll get your show out to you here late tonight or first thing in the morning. Good night, everybody. We'll see you around the corner.